XRP's use case keeps getting bigger. Soon we are going to have the Ripple and SEC case behind us. Then we are going to get spot ETFs proved here in America. That following a lot of other information by developers and the EVM sidechain on the XRP ledger. All three of these things are going to be a powerhouse heading into the end of the year. So let's go ahead and address where this is all going. There's a great interview here. This is the CEO of ArcX is being interviewed by All In Crypto. I paused that at a weird place. All good. I have had some shorts like that too, where like, let's go ahead and play this. I have a ton of other Ripple and XRP updates. We're going to take a look and explore what to expect over the next few months here. Let's play this.
Where do you think we are in regards to the kind of tokenization of everything? You know, you guys are tokenization of everything, not the right statement, but the kind of tokenization of financial instruments. You know, where do you think we are in regards to that? This, of course, was the UK's first kind of live use case of digital assets. So obviously we're right at the start. You know, what's in store for us?
Not so long ago, we announced with Bailey Gifford, we did the first natively digital tokenization of a fund in the UK. And we're doing this collateral transaction. But like the difference here, I mean, we've been around 7 and a bit years now. But the difference now is, this Lloyds and Aberdeen transaction, I mean, that required them onboarding us as a counterpart to work with them. And the same with Bailey Gifford as well. So, you know, this is no longer just Archax and any other fintech stroke startup in the space talking about this happening. All of the big guys now agree this is happening and they're starting to adjust their processes for it. So I mean, to answer your question, I thought we'd be a lot further on than we are now, but that was just obviously founder optimism, without which we might not even be here. But we're somewhere along that journey. I mean, regulation is being put in place across every major jurisdiction in the world. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, which I think is fascinating, was like, when I checked the other day, and it's more than that now, I'm sure, was 83 billion, the fastest ever to get to that level in 300 odd days and 5 times quicker than any other. The 20th biggest ETF now. So now you've got people interested. You've got insane demand for these products, as shown by all the Bitcoin treasury stuff. People learning about it all the time. You've got a young generation that seems way more fascinated in digital assets than they ever were in traditional securities. You've got banks and institutions now playing catch up to make sure they don't get disrupted and the regulation being put in place. So slowly you've got like all of these foundational blocks that are being put in place, which frankly we were missing for the first 4 or 5 years of our existence. And you know, we were talking about the benefits, but it was quite hard to demonstrate them. But now you're starting to get use cases like Nest, where people are seeing real value, savings in cost, faster processing, more efficiencies. In the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see meaningful shifts, and it only takes someone like DTC or Euroclear to announce that they're going fully digital, and that's it. Most of the world's assets are moving on chain.
Sounds like he believes there's going to be a big bang moment where, you know, DTCC or Euroclear announced the tokenization of all their financial assets, and it just happens on a flip of a switch. Now we did a video just like a few days ago talking about how long the timeline would be on that. And I have very little faith that it's going to be all in one flip of the switch moment. I think it's going to be a gradual build out over the next, 5 to 15 years, depending on how long it's going to take for jurisdictions to be able to communicate. When you sell something on chain, the ownership needs to be able to be moved. And that's very difficult to connect legacy systems that are decades old to the current infrastructure of blockchain. And so how do you connect all of these outdated systems to blockchain? And these are some of the roadblocks that we're experiencing right now. I also wanted to take a look at, this is a Graham from ArcX. This is a guy that said 30 to 50 trillion on the XRP ledger. Remember, he gave that, quote that, a lot of people listened to and got really interested. But he was talking about the tokenization of money market funds. The total U.S. money market fund assets are approximately about $7 trillion. This reflects substantial increase and shows the scale that could potentially be tokenized if the entire money market moves blockchain or other digital ledger technologies. Also, tokenizing stocks and ETFs. U.S. listed ETFs reached about 11.6 trillion in assets by mid-2025, with historical strong inflows this year. The majority of these equity stock ETFs representing a massive pool of assets that could also be tokenized if the trend continues across the industry. And we're talking about, analysts project 45 trillion will be passed down from Americans. So, right now, younger people are more interested in investing in cryptocurrency than they're investing in the stock market. Okay. And over the next, 10, 15 years, our parents will move on and leave their wealth to the younger generation. And when that starts to happen, we're already starting to see that a lot of this wealth is going to be put into the crypto market, because all of these, younger, 18, 25, 35-year-old people are falling in love with cryptocurrency and blockchain. So there are going to be $45 trillion passed down from Americans age 70 and over to younger generations over the next 10 years. Looking ahead, by 2048, the total great wealth transfer is estimated to be $124 trillion. So, over the next 20 something years, we're talking about $124 trillion going to younger generation, which a lot of this money, I would imagine, is going to go into new companies and blockchain solutions. And so it'll be really interesting to see how all of this plays out. Now, Verson also posted this: when XRP becomes the bridge asset for tokenized assets, real-time and sovereign debt swaps, 1,000 won't be the ceiling, it'll be the floor. A fixed max supply combined with transactional burns means supply shrinks and demand grows. I also wanted to take a look here at his comment to see like how much burn are we really talking about here? If the XRP ledger starts to be used at scale, how long would it take to burn through a portion of the supply? So let's go ahead and take a look at what he's saying here. Maximum potential transactions. Theoretical maximum, the XRP ledger has a theoretical output of about 3,400 transactions per second, which is equal to about 293 million transactions per day. Practical sustained throughput, experts cite real world rates about 500 to 700 transactions per day, basically translating to 43.2 million to 60 million transactions per day. The burn rate, burn mechanism, each transaction burns a minimum of 0.00001 XRP as a fee. The annual burn and at maximum rates, the theoretical max is basically about 1.7 tokens XRP burned per year. Practical sustained 157,000 to 220,000 XRP burned per year. Supply context, the total supply is just under 100 billion. Years to burn 10% of the total supply would take about 9,326 years. So I understand why he's saying this, but if we look at the hard data, like even if we're scaling this to 2 or 3 times what they believe this is going to do, right? You're still looking at, the timeline of 45,300 to 63,400 years. The burn's not going to do anything while we are alive. Now, this could be future generations. If we're all still here at, a few thousand years, yes, these assets are probably worth, I don't know, who knows, but the burn is going to take quite some time. All right. I just wanted to go over that with you because I read that. I was like, oh, interesting, right? A max supply combined with transaction burn means supply shrinks and demand grows. Supply shrinks over a long period of time. All right. Waiting patiently.
I do think if we do get like the Sol ETF, which I think is next, and then XRP ETF or right be after that, and then we may get like a few more this year, but I think at a minimum we get these two. I think it really depends on the market conditions. If the market is hot again, these two will benefit enormously from the ETFs because you're going to have hundreds of millions to billions of dollars from Wall Street flowing in.
Remember, these inflows will have a market cap multiplier with them. So, current research, there's about when inflows or outflows come to the XRP ledger, you can see like $10 million changing the market cap, several billion. We're starting to see like 100x to a 500 or 600x multiplier on inflows. So if we got $5 or $10 billion, and if we were able to get, let's say $10 billion at a 200x multiplier, that would take us into the trillions of dollars in market cap for XRP. That could help jump leap the XRP ledger in front of Ethereum and, eventually I believe in front of Bitcoin, but we'll see how that plays out. Jay Claver also has something to say here about ETFs. Let's listen closely.
Everyone expects XRP price appreciation with the ETFs, but how do we know the funds haven't already been bought OTC? Great question. They have been. There is definitely volume on the OTC desk for XRP. Our partners that we work with through Uphold and Kraken have both stated that when we've had those conversations. I think the ETF volume is going to be wild when it opens up. I could be wrong. Let's just say it's half of what Bitcoin's was the first day that it opened. I think it could be like 5 times more or maybe even 20 times more. But the volume the first day on the Bitcoin ETFs was $400 million. So let's call it $200 million. At $2, that's 100 million XRP. Okay. Maybe they buy that OTC. But as that supply becomes less and less and less, even over the first couple weeks, as people average into those ETFs, the price is going to have to rise. Anyway, they could buy at OTC, and I think they already are, along with the TWAP, like I mentioned, to be able to hold price stability here. But over the long term, I think you're still going to see exponentially higher prices as that supply dwindles on the open market and what they're able to source through OTC. If it gets any type of designation as a tier 1 asset, forget it. Like it's going to be like gold. It's going to have a street price, and then it's going to have a premium over that where people are able to get above the spot price.
Like that, right? I really like to hear that. And we got to understand the demand for XRP ETFs far exceeds the closest, which is Solana. I think Solana has maybe like 5, and XRP is well over 10. You have Bitwise, Canary Capital, 21 shares, Wisdom Tree, Pro Shares, Grayscale, Coin Shares, Volatility Shares, Franklin Templeton, Hashdex, and Tucrium, all interested. And, you know, I'd imagine this list is going to grow if these ETFs start getting approved and BlackRock and these type of bigger institutions start to see demand for their customers asking for these products. It will come now. Jake said here the first day of ETF volume for Bitcoin was about 400 million. Now we have to understand that there's about 50 something million people around the world that own Bitcoin, but there's only a few million people that own XRP. Our user database here for the XRP ledger, or owners of XRP, is much, much smaller. So I do believe there will be a lot of upfront demand. We'll have to see if that demand equals, you know, scale over 6 or 12 months or longer period of time and how all that unfolds. But I think people are underestimating the impact of how big this is going to get. Also, Bitcoin Magazine said CFTC will launch an initiative for trading spot crypto asset contracts. The CFTC in full speed ahead on enabling immediate trading of digital assets at the federal level. So this is today's date, August 4th. It's going to come out tomorrow on Tuesday. Commodity Futures Trading Commission acting chairman Caroline D. Pham announced today that CFTC will launch an initiative for trading spot crypto asset contracts that are listed on the CFTC registered futures exchange. This is the first initiative of the CFTC's crypto sprint to start implementation and the recommendations in the president's working group on digital assets report. Acting chairman Pham announced CFTC's crypto sprint week. And then it says, under President Trump's strong leadership and vision, the CFTC is in full speed ahead on enabling immediate trading of digital assets at the federal level in coordination with the SEC's Project Crypto, said Chairman Pham. There is a clear and simple solution that the CFTC can implement now. The Commodity Exchange Act currently requires that retail trading of commodities will leverage margin or financing must be conducted on a DCM. Starting today, we invite all stakeholders to work with us on providing regulatory clarity on how to list spot crypto asset contracts on a DCM using our existing authority. So this is big because we all know that Caroline Pham is one of the regulators that we were bullish for, right? She's visited Ripple, right? She's had multiple conversations here with Brad and the team. And I think she should definitely stay in this job if they will have her, because I think she does a fantastic job, very crypto friendly. And she's obviously somebody that people want to work with. And so you love to see that. I have just built a course for beginners, intermediaries, and experts of XRP to better understand the XRP ledger and Ripple, the company. If you're interested in getting that course absolutely free, there's a link down in the description. Please let me know what you think after you've taken the course. Aloha. Crypto Basic, obviously, guys, there's always people that want to be in the top, 5% or 10% of holders or whatever it is for XRP. I don't know where you are on this list, but, understand that you are a rare person, right? There's only a few million people like you on earth that understands that crypto will be the next evolution of these financial products. And what we're all trying to do here is we're trying to own a piece of the future. And I think it is really a cool thing when you can meet somebody that has the same interests and likes as you. And of course, the XRP Army is, of course, a special breed of person. And I just can't say how much I appreciate spending this time with you. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourself. Bye. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.